Well, 7 seasons into the Ultimate Mobile Racing League, we don't stop exploring new areas of the world, like Zandvoort. Welcome to round 4 of the Ultimate Mobile Racing League, happening for the first time in the Netherlands. Some things didn't change from last round though, and that is your awesome commentators duo of me, Larry, and my great colleague with the great name, Eloksian. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, my Wi-Fi's but I think this should work without problem. Hoping this works without issue for anyone else, but it's totally lagging out for me, but hopefully it's working for everyone else.
I hope so too, as I watch Phoenix now coming out of turn 4, turn 3. That's the Hugenholz-Bocht. Sadly not with banking in this game, but he is racing for Williams, replacing Laguna and Seguin together with Nikhil. Phoenix, who already was the reserve driver for Williams last season, finally gets to make an appearance, and our championship leader is missing from this round. Could this be the chance for Crustnet and also maybe for Justin and Paradrive, who are between them in the championship, to get into the lead?
Right now we have Pine leading the way with a 32.9. He's a Omar driver, so it's a good surprise to see him being on top right now.
Yeah, so far he's had an 18th place at Brazil and then an 11th place at Malaysia, so these were his first points, but now he's on provisional pole. A 32 time is very nice to see already. That's something I have managed only once this entire week. And now Justin has absolutely smashed it with a 32.62. That's just 2/10 of the world record from Laguna. What an incredible job by him. Ludwig in the Ibernova ahead of him has also done that, but he's 8/10 behind in the timetable. And Senna then with a 32.80. Fantastic job by these young drivers.
Yeah, we see all kinds of different times going on right here. We see Justin having the experience, of course, being the last race winner in Malaysia, and him setting a 32.6 is definitely a very strong benchmark for the others to beat.
Yeah, we watch them too, and also Piggy go through that very, very difficult chicane. That's turn 11 and 12. Piggy, of course, on the front row last time out, but then he kind of got screwed over by the stupid mistake that I did at the start. You're gonna see that once I finally manage to get the video out. Piggy this time is having his struggles again, sadly. Let's hope for a nice comeback from him again. But yeah, it is a very challenging track, especially that chicane. And I think that's also kind of down to the track being this vertical. Like, you barely see the corners before you approach them. The checkered flag has come out. Is there going to be any more improvement? Justin and Ludwig go across the line together, but they can't improve on their phenomenal times anymore. The 1-2 from Malaysia is going to start on the front row together here in Zandvoort. Sigma Bob is gonna start right behind his teammate Justin in third. A Troya Racing team might be on to extend their championship lead, especially because Williams don't look that good right now. Senna starts in P4 ahead of Pigeon and Tyne, the two one-times having their best qualifying in at least a season.
Pigeon is the GOAT.
Crustnet in P7 only for Ibernova GP, his own team. Majimdar makes his return in P8. Piggy in 9th place for MP Motorsport, the man who started on the front row last week and who I maybe stole at least a lead lap. And Strudel starts in P10, his second start in the top tier of this game. Fede in P11, Guillermo in 12th place ahead of Phoenix, the best of the two Williams, only in 13th place. Paradrive in P14, he was right up there with all the other potential championship protagonists. This time he is left with some work to do, at least after qualifying. And Toaster starts in 15th for Minardi, ahead of Nikhil, the Williams team owner, in 16th, and Albano in P17 for Hurricane Racing Team. And Frankie rounds out the top 18 at Zandvoort.
Albona actually beat someone, that's impressive.
On the starting grid at Zandvoort, we pick our strategies for these 45 laps that lay ahead of us. No rain on the radar today. Justin and Ludwig start where they left off at Malaysia, with Sigmund getting a good start as well. The Etruria's looking good into the first corner, but Ludwig is going to go around the outside, and Ludwig goes into the lead of a Yuma race for the second week in a row. Senanet is in P4, then it's Pigeon in P5 with Piggy already in P6.
Oh, and Ludwig has been pushed off. Ludwig has had trouble with Sigma Bob. I think they have had a collision. Meanwhile, Pigeon gets pushed off by Ludwig. So we see pretty messy start from him so far. We see Giuliano going into the grass and Ein trying to overtake Majumdar. Let's see how this is going to work out. Majumdar touches the grass a bit, but else it seems to be pretty clean so far within the midfield.
Yeah, Maju, of course, makes his return to racing after retiring because of just being too busy last season, I think, after Brazil. Now he's back in his own team, and his teammate Senna has made it up into second place. I thought for a moment that he might have lagged and caused some trouble with Ludwig, but now it's looking good again. Pigeon, for one time, is still up there, racing with Sigmund and trying to pass even Ludwig into the first corner, but he goes too wide onto the grass, and Sigmund goes back through. No space left for Pigeon in turn 3 as well. Now, where is Crustanet? He is up in P6. Where is Paradrive, our championship contender? He's in P12, not making that much progress so far.
And not good for him. So far, our championship protagonists seem to be rather in trouble within the midfield. Crossnet is in P8. Laguno actually isn't racing today. The championship leader has decided to sit out this race due to personal reasons. And third place championship driver Pero Drive is only in P wait, what?
That's P8.
Oh.
I think he's made his way
Yes,
up a little
P8.
bit.
I had my settings wrong. Yeah, here, P8. He's P7 now.
Okay, and he's carrying a big train of cars behind him right now. Ferry, Tyne, and Piggy all picking up the slipstream. None of them trying to go round the outside of the Slovenian, but Pero is rather holding Ferry up here as he also taps the grass. And the exit of turn 3 is Tyne gonna go back around the outside and maybe further up again. Of course, he was holding provisional pole further before, but started in P6 then only. Now he's down to P9. His teammate Pigeon is still following the train of cars at the very front. But look at Justin and Senna, our two charging rookies from last season already. Getting clear ahead, and now there's Ludwig with a mistake in turn 1, or rather an incident, together with Pigeon and Sigma Bob. As Krasnet now makes his way into the podium places after just 5 laps completed in the Dutch Grand Prix. He is ready to go after his potential championship protagonists for this season.
Zandvoort is a very tricky track for these drivers, so it's bringing out all the skill they have. And right now we're seeing all the skill Crossnet is giving out compared to the rest of the grid. He has gained a lot of positions in the first few laps and is now up into P3.
And Senna's gone into the lead. Just
Pigeon is side by side with him.
And Senna is in the lead, I think, out of turn 3 as well,
ahead.
with the banked corner that doesn't exist here. But Senna has managed to pass his Dutch opponent in his home race. Justin on the medium tires is going to come back at him through these last few corners. It's also not that easy to get the line set, especially if you don't pay attention. You really have to take a tight line and just use all the track that you have going into this long right-hander. And Justin on the mediums is back past. And now Crust is very much alone in P3. We got Sigma Bob in 4th, trying to get on the podium again. He started in P3. And then we got Pero now up to P5 suddenly, ahead of his teammate Piggy, who might also now clear his back a little, as Ludwig, podium finisher from Malaysia, started on the front row here. is behind him. Are they going to go wheel to wheel into the first corner? Ludwig with a dive. Piggy on the grass, on the pit and pit separator, and goes down to P7.
Indeed, we see Senna up into P2. Last time out in Malaysia, he retired and was pretty upset with himself. So hopefully he'll be in a better mood after this race after all.
And now we already see
As
the
we see
first
him
pit stops.
Correct. Senna goes into the medium tyres and comes out in P9, right ahead of traffic and right in front of traffic. Right now we have all kinds of messy moments. Both one-times are having trouble on the straight, and Senna goes down inside of Tyne, who leaves him enough space to work with. And Senna now has to try to get past Giuliano, but Giuliano doesn't leave him a lot of space to work with.
And that's Pigeon, also on fresh
See him
tires,
being-
coming close to the Brazilian.
That
What a
is
job
true.
by Pigeon. Is he going to go through
That
the
is
middle
all.
of this pack here? Guillermo on his old tires, still able to
Oh,
kind of
Giuliano
defend.
with a big mess there into turn 3, as we saw Giuliano making the send of the century and literally hitting a few people doing so. Meanwhile, we see Pigeon getting ahead of Majumdar and Senna trying to follow him.
I think that this is going to go very well for Justin. I think he's doing just a massive undercut on Senna right now, as he's also having to fight with the experienced Brit behind him and Majumdar, who barges Pigeon off the track, maybe to still gain some time for Senna, but nothing can be done against the Flying Dutchman out front, who's got his teammate Signal Bob for company. They're both on old mediums. These tires last 10 to 15 laps, so it's about time for them to pit now as well. The hards last 13 to 18 laps, but certainly Guillermo couldn't defend within the rules in that turn 3 before.
That is true. Now looking back on some drivers, we see Crossnet and Pigeon fighting, and Pigeon losing out to Crossnet for P4, and Crossnet goes ahead of Pigeon on his relatively new softs, but as I say that, Pigeon tries to fight back, but Crossnet stays ahead for now.
And what about the Williams? Oh, I'm gonna have to look at Guillermo again, as he is still out there on the hards, but his long first stint probably not going quite as planned, as he's already only in P7 and his stop is gonna bring him further down. Piggy has come out behind him on fresh tires a few laps ago, as is Ludwig, and they are going side by side here, but still kinda stuck behind Guillermo here. So he is doing a nice defensive job most of the time, but it could also already go wrong on this very, very tight and twisty track. And what about the Williams, actually? Where is Phoenix? He is only in P16, and Nikhil, team owner,
That's a big shame for him.
in 18th. The last time Williams scored 0 points was at Singapore Fictional in the autumn 2024 season, and that could be quite a shame for them today.
That's a pretty infamous race, but find out what happened in this race. Just look up what the most viewed video is on our YouTube channel.
That's not Singapore Fictional, actually. That's normal Singapore.
Oh.
But I'm gonna have to look at Crossnet, who's attempting a move on
Sorry.
Senna now on his soft
Forget that.
tires. Senna on the mediums, and then we got Justin on the hards. So now all split strategies fighting for the top 3. Crossnet is very much now with his young opponents. But yeah, of course, Singapore Fictional still was infamous and pretty legendary as well, with Crossnet's first
Definitely
win,
is.
as Flix almost won the race, the PC player. All the Singapores are just awesome, and definitely has to return.
It definitely has, but I definitely think some would disagree on a large scale, I'd say. So this doesn't include me though. I definitely want to see Singapore come back.
Based.
Definitely the fictional version more than the normal one.
Nah, I wouldn't agree with that.
As we
Now
see.
we get two triple pairs, triplets of cars fighting for first, second, and third, and also for fourth, fifth, and sixth. That's kind of spread out now, as Pero is just on his own in P5, with Single Bob in P4 on hard tires. The strategy's getting very interesting right now.
See Senna now leading the race ahead of Justin after he undercut Justin, but Justin is now on the fresher and on harder tires, so he is probably gonna try to have a pit stop less than Senna in the long run, meaning that he could benefit hugely from this. But Senna is definitely doing a good job right now. He's had a tough start to this season, so him possibly fighting for the win would be big for him.
Yeah, I agree. He's taking a podium at Portugal, but then of course the retirement at Malaysia and P6 in Brazil means that he's in 6th in the standings in a season where he definitely wants to fight for the championship. Yeah, still kind of impressive. I think that Senna, despite being in all that traffic before, is now leading the race. I mean, Justin is he's already having a tire advantage, and maybe also making use of it already, making a switchback. What a move by Justin to get ahead of Senna, also staying ahead of Krosnet there, who's right in the middle of them on the old soft tires, as they still try to pick up the slipstream, but I think Justin is going to disappear in a matter of seconds to minutes.
I think he is now, as Senna dives into the pit lane to get some new fresh tires. He's onto the hard compound, and he's gonna come out presumably between the packs. So he comes out behind Fede, and Piggy and Ludwig both fight for position and chase each other for the podium.
Senna with an early second stop, as is Krosnet, and Fede I think is also going to have to pit pretty soon, but considering that Senna and Kross are also with him, is he maybe on for a few points again today after, yeah, quite a disappointment after these huge penalties from Portugal, and then he even got a race ban for Malaysia last week, so this is also a small return for him.
True.
So let's see what Fede is going to do right now. Definitely not up to fight with Krosnet and Senna in the long run in this race, as Krosnet just swoops around the outside of turn 7 there. Very quick turn as well, and you can make a move, but it is very risky. I think that's kind of the case in this entire track. There are no clear overtaking opportunities apart from turn 1, but you can definitely outsmart your rivals, and tire wear is also pretty important.
Looking down upon the grid, we see both Tyne and Pigeon fighting for position. It's a good race for one time. They are both fighting for some solid points for a team which was pretty unstable, but now has found some consistency in itself, I'd say. Looking behind them, we have Pero Drive, who's one of the big shockers this season when it comes to delivering out of nowhere, but right now he's not having a very great race in P9.
Krosnet has gone ahead of Senna now. Krust has opted for softs again. Krosnet also making mistakes here. Championship contender from last season is also not completely immune to them around Zandvoort. I think none of them are right here, as they all push to the very edge here. But Krosnet still stays ahead of Senna right now. Senna is on the hards and happy to just stay behind his rival for now. But what does this mean for Justin and Sigma Bob, who are on the hard tires? Both of their compounds are very old already. But Etruria right now lead the Constructors' Championship by 17 points over Williams. And Williams, of course, won't get a good result as of right now. So what does this mean for the team standings?
That's a very good question as always, but to these questions I can't tell you the answer because I don't know the answer, as doesn't anyone else.
That's what we love, isn't it? But we can also see the purple cars.
So stupid, but whatever.
No, you're correct. But we also see the purple cars from Ludwig and Krasnitz, the new team from the Spaniard, in P3 and P5, as they are in P3 at the moment on 67 points in the team standings, and they might also come very close to Williams. Or yeah, they are gonna pass them right now. Not past Etruria.
See Sigma Bob. We see Sigma Bob lapping some cars. We have Nikhil in 18th, subbing in for his own team Williams, which had both their drivers, Zeguin and Laguno, drop out for this race due to personal reasons, I guess. And so far, Phoenix is in P12. He might pick up a point, but Nikhil is in P18 right now, fighting Albano, who's a PC driver. But to be fair, Nikhil is also kind of concentrating on PC at the moment, so it's not really that.
And Pigeon right now has...
shouldn't give him that much slack.
Pigeon has switched the AI to easy as well. He's just gone around the outside of Phoenix there. Is he going to do the same on Guillermo? We saw that it can go wrong with the Spaniard on his old tires, but Pigeon has already cleared him out of turn 3. He is ahead of Pigeon, Guillermo and Ludwig. Majumdar ahead of him is on decent mediums, I would say. But the Briton is in good form around Zandvoort and definitely wants to score some points for one time, who are last in the team standings, only scoring at Malaysia so far with 2 points. Yeah, now Pigeon in P9 might get further up as other people pit. Fede is now on fresh heart in P7. So yeah, he might find his way into some sort of position around there in the end as well for APA. And Piggy and Paradrive for MP Motorsport are in P5 and 6. They're in 4th in the team standings right now. Doesn't look like they're gonna make much progress this round, but Para and Piggy looking very solid, and Sigma Bob comes out between them after his second stop, and he's on hards again.
He seems to be in a decent position, going from P9 to P4, but I think some of it is mostly due to him pitting earlier than everyone else, so he will regret it in the latter stages, I'd say.
Kruss has just gone into the pit lane off his soft tires. Now he goes for hards. Justin and Senna have already breezed past and down the main straight, and they are going at it again in the tight and twisty middle section of this track. Senna is in the slipstream of Justin, but they're both in hards. Oh, but Justin is in fresh hards. Damn, so now he really does have a tire advantage, and Senna is even set to stop very soon. Okay, so now it doesn't look
Justin
as though Senna has an advantage.
Pretty impressive. Justin is managing his two-stop strategy right now. It's a very ambitious strategy, I'd say, as even I in AML, which is literally like 5 minutes shorter, literally didn't dare to two-stop, which went horribly wrong, but let's glance over that. So Justin is probably one of very little people trying to two-stop, and right now he is succeeding and is driving away into the sunset.
Yeah, Crust is also on fresh hearts, but he's already got 3 stops done. Sigma Bob, the second Etruria, is now up to second place again, and also going on hards to the end on the 2-stop. Yeah, so that seems to be some genius strategy from Brazida's team. Sigma Bob, of course, is going to be able to defend from Crossnet, as he just has a bit older tires, 1 or 2 laps. That is gonna go down to a very exciting finish, and maybe with a very nice result for our home hero Justin. Can he pick up a second win in a row?
We're very grateful for him. Within the championship, he had a tricky start, but now he might as well get 2 wins in a row, which might make him a contender in the championship.
Yeah, Senna, once again, not on the podium. 2.5 seconds off it right now. He's on the mediums, but these are, of course, gonna wear off faster as well. And he's, of course, also trying to go to the end now. Yeah, just nowhere near Justin anymore after the strategies have untangled themselves. And Fetty has actually come out in P5. He's gonna have to go on to another set of softs to the end because he's on old hard tires. Pigeon, though, has also kind of messed up with his tire wear right here. Paradrive is gonna have an easy life passing him now, pushing him out in the last corner. That's not what you want to see. I think Para would have passed him a few corners later, nevertheless, but yeah, strange incident between the MP and the one time here. Stein is in P7. Yeah, the strategy is looking pretty good at the front, but the midfield is not done yet. And as aren't the two Etrurias. Look at Sigma Bob now in the slipstream of his teammate. Could the Italian distract the home hero around here?
That is very true right now. So Sigma Bob is very close to Justin. They're both Etrurias, so I think, in my opinion, what I would do is just play it safe and bring home the 1-2, and they'll probably decide in the final 2 laps or so which of them is gonna take the honors to win.
Brazidus is definitely gonna wish for a connection, for a team radio connection to these two now. As Sigma Bob, yeah, he is 1.5 seconds ahead of Krasnet and also not too close to Justin at this moment. But any mistake could change this in a matter of seconds. And they are all in equal tires, as is Krasnet behind them. Yeah, probably the best driver that this league has ever seen, which hasn't won a championship. And that is not something you should play with.
Both Justin and Sigma Bob have, of course, won races in the UML. Justin has won last race and UK last year, while Sigma Bob has won Canada due to, I think that was Laguna giving him the position on the final straight. So, but he was definitely happy with winning. But I think he'd be even more happy if he'd legitimately got a win. So let's see how he will fight for it today. But looking at it right now, Justin is slightly pulling away from him, so I think they are playing it safe at the moment.
Yeah, they're also staying pretty far off the curbs right here in turns 7, 8, where you normally could just reduce the distance by a little bit more. These are flat corners, but yeah, you don't want to risk it as well because they aren't straights. You should take them seriously still. But let's see what Krasnet is going to do about that. The gap is coming down 1.1 seconds between them.
That is very true. Sigma Bob has had a mistake in turn 3, so he's again lost a bit of ground on Justin, but Justin has to fight with older tires, so this is definitely not over yet in the final stages here.
Neither is the fight in the midfield as Tyne just loses 2 positions, goes down to P9. Ludwig and Fede drift around the outside of him. Fede maybe not drifting that much as he is on pretty fresh soft tires now, trying to regain some positions, and he is still in P7. Let's hope that he is not going to get this many penalties in the Dutch Grand Prix as well. But Ludwig is down to P8 now on the hards, and Tyne as well to P9, and Pigeon has pitted for mediums only in P10 now. Quite sad to see. Definitely MP Motorsport.
Justin is drifting off on my screen, but
yeah, I also don't see him. I don't see him.
Justin,
oh my god, what's happening? Krasnet is passing round the outside of turn 1 goes Krasnet. He's ahead of the Italian. Is Justin going to retire from the lead in his home Grand Prix? Where is he? I haven't seen it. He is in the graphic going down to P13 and he's left the game straight away. That is a slam dunk. Connection issue for the Dutchman. And Etruria's dreams of getting a huge gap in the team's championship are shattered, with Krasned set to win for
dashed.
for the second time this season.
That's insane how fast these things can go wrong. And it looks like Justin has disconnected, which is pretty much the equivalent of an engine failure in this game. Massive shame for him. He was doing so well back in front with his old tires, so it's a huge shame that he's has to end it like this with so little laps to go.
Krasned with one
See,
lap to go.
Krasned pretty much is cruising now,
Yeah, already weaving across the main straight.
already celebrating.
Sigmavob still trying to chase him, but they are both just sliding around, separated by 1.5 seconds. Senna is going to pick up a podium after all. Paradrive is still ahead of Fede. Yeah, Fede rather, having to focus on Piggy and Loddick behind him, as Fede's tires are also now worn off. And now we watch Krasned, who is got around the final corner as the winner for the second time this season. Krasned becomes the first repeat winner in the winter of 2026. He wins the Dutch Grand Prix on a day that almost went Etruria's way. And Sigmavob takes P2 with Justin, the home hero, getting
Heroic
0 points.
fourth. Fede, strong comeback in 5th. Piggy in 6th. Ludwig in 7th. Time bringing him strong points for 1 time, as well as Pigeon. Giuliano in 10th. Majumda in 11th. Phoenix picking up a point for Williams.
1 point for
Toast to
Williams.
Frankie, Strudel, Nikhil, and Albono in last place.
Now, the last time Williams scored less than 10 points was at Valencia in the summer 2025. Painful for the team that's in second in the championship. Take a look at this. Paradrive becomes the first MP Motorsport driver to lead the championship ever since Piggy won his title. And he's the first ever Humor L driver to lead the championship without having won in that season. And that's already 4 races into this one. So it is still extremely tight. Paradrive has kept it consistent. Of course, Krust and Laguna both miss a race, and Krasned is just 1 point off the Slovenian. But still, what a job by Para so far. Not on the podium today, but the fastest lap. Sigmavob now has the same number of points as his teammate Justin, and they have 11 more than Senna, who is in 6th. Justin, of course, yeah, leaving lots of points on the table with that disconnection. I mean, it's not his fault, but pole to DNF is definitely very painful at your home race. Senna with his first podium since Portugal in P6, then Ludwig in 7th place. Also turning out to be a nice debut season for him so far. Fede also bouncing back with 5th place today. Piggy in 9th, and Guillermo rounds out the top 10 in the championship standings. And after Williams E-Racing's second to worst race ever, they find themselves in 4th place in the team's standings. Only Singapore Fictional in the autumn of 2024 was worse with 0 points. And Etruria lead 10 points ahead of Ivanova GP. Also a slow start for the Spanish team in round 1, but they have bounced back enormously with taking the most points in the last 3 rounds. Of course, tied with Etruria and Williams in round 2. Very interesting to see a triple tie there. MP Motorsport in P3. Definitely the dark horses of this season so far. It's been a pleasure to host the Dutch Grand Prix for the first time. It almost went the way the home crowd would have wanted, but turns out Krasned is getting closer to his title dreams in Season 7 yet again.
I think Matt has jinxed it, and now everyone's blamed Matt that he jinxed it.